Hey, boys and girls, welcome back. Today is Tuesday, January the 20th, and it is what I will call day 11 of Number Corner. So it's been 11 days since you've seen my face on camera, but we've actually been in school for 12 days in January. So that's why I say I'm going to call it day 11 because I'm basing that on the plans that I have for how I know how to structure these videos. So we're going to talk about I want you to briefly look at, I've already updated our calendar grid. We have another pentagon today, and it looks like the area has followed our pattern of one day we have an area and the next day is always 4 times larger. So we had 2.5, and 2.5 times 4 is like saying 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5. And 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5. So 5 plus 5 is 10. So our area is now 10. We also have to do our calendar collector, which I've already updated. But just to refresh your memory, today is day 11 of Number Corner, but we've been in school for 12 days. So I added our 12th set of 3 quarters, which means I now have 36 quarters, which is 36 fourths. That's like saying 36 times 1/4 because every quarter represents 1/4 of a dollar. Okay? 36 divided by 4 is 9, which means I now have $9. And if you have a really good memory and you've been following along with these videos, then maybe you remember when we talked about what are you observing with our recording sheet, maybe you remember that every multiple of 4 gave us a day where we had whole dollars. And so day 4 we had whole dollars, day 8, now day 12. So our next day where we're going to have whole dollars is going to be what? Right, day 16. And so just by looking at today, I'm very thankful that I did not accept the $10 that was presented to me at the beginning of this month, and I started collecting 3 quarters a day because it looks like I'm going to have more money than just the $10. Okay, today our main focus comes from word problems. We're going to be doing some word problems today, and so you need to get out your Number Corner workbook. And I believe the problem is on page 48. So if you would turn to page 48, and when you get there, if you would just go ahead and silently read problem number 1 to yourself. And I'll give you a moment to do so. Hope you have out your book, and if you haven't had a chance to read the problem, I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud for us all to hear. If you've already read it, then great. This is the second time you'll hear it because my motto is when you see a word problem, you should read it twice anyway. Okay? So in his toy car collection, Leo had 29 green cars, 22 black cars, and 27 red cars. He divides his cars into 6 equal piles. How many cars are in each pile? So before we even think about solving this problem, go ahead and tell somebody else or just say out loud in your own words what this problem is saying. What's going on in this problem? Did you recognize it as a 2-step word problem? Because we have 29 green, 22 black, 27 red. So we need to find out how many cars in his collection. That's addition. Then we got to put it in 6 piles. So what operation is it when you're trying to put something into 6 piles? Maybe you remember I said we're doing division story problems today. So yes, it's division. Not just because I said it was division story problems, but it makes sense in context, and it also says he divides his cars into 6 equal piles. So, before we solve this problem, let's estimate the answer, okay? So, before we can estimate, the answer for how many piles, we got to do the first step, which is estimate about how many cars does he have. How do we estimate? What are some strategies that we can do? What does it mean, estimate? Yeah, so we're going to be rounding, right? So 30, about 30 green cars, about 20 black, and about 30 red. So that means 30 plus 20 plus 30. How many is that? 80. He has about 80 cars, and we still need to put them in 6 piles. So now I want you to think about how many piles do we think we'll have? Or my favorite question is, how many piles do we know we're not going to have? We're putting 80 into 6 piles, so our answer shouldn't be greater than 80, right? Because we're dividing. So we need to figure out how many are in each pile. So our answer is not 80. What else could our answer not be? Or what could our answer be more than? Yeah. And if you didn't think about this, maybe you will next time. Our answer has to be more than 10 because 6 times 10 is 60 and we have 80. So we know our answer is going to be more than 10. So that would be an estimate. Okay. And anybody want to have any other thoughts? Right. Well, I want you guys to work out this problem. So you may need to pause this video so that you can work it out. And actually, you probably should pause the video so that you will work it out. And show your thinking using numbers, pictures, or equations. All right, go for it. All right, guys, hopefully you've paused your video and now you're back and ready to go over the answer to this word problem. And we know that the first step of solving this word problem was to actually find the actual number of cars, okay? So we estimated they were about 80. Let's find the actual number. 29 plus 22 plus 27. 20 plus 20 is 40, plus 20 is 60. And then we have 9 plus 2 is 11, plus 7 is 18. So then we have 60 plus 18, which would give us 78. So I used, for my strategy for adding, I just used my knowledge of place value. Instead of trying to line them up and do all the regrouping and things that we would do with a standard algorithm, I just used what I thought was the best strategy for these numbers because they were fairly easy to work with. Okay, so hopefully you got 78 cars. He has 78 cars in his collection. And now we need to put those 78 cars into 6 piles. So let's hear some strategies that you guys used. Did anybody draw a picture, much like what we were doing when we did our problem string? I hope so. Well, we knew one side length was what? 6. So although the problem is suggesting our brains to think about piles, meaning equal groups, we still could use the area model to solve this problem. So if you really weren't sure, maybe you need to pause this video now and see if you can work it out. We already said our answer is going to be more than 10 because what do we know about 6 times 10? Right, 6 times 10 is 60. So I could go ahead and fill in the area of 60 because I know it's more than 10 and we need to get to 78. So we're not finished, but we have a really good head start here because how much more do we need to go? I could say 78 minus 60, so maybe I'll just do that real quick. And I know I have 18 left over. So I got to figure out what times 6 is 18. Do you know? 6 times 3 is 18. So I could add another side length of 3 here. and fill that in, and that's 18. If for some reason you didn't know 6 times 3 is 18, but maybe you knew that 6 times 2 was 12, then you still could have added 2, and you would have then needed 6 more, which would give you 3. Okay? Since I know 6 times 3, I'm just going to use 6 times 3. And 60 plus 18 gives me my 78. So now the question is, what is the answer? How many cars are in each pile? We did all this work, but where's my answer? The answer is here. So you should have gotten 13, and then I could add cars in each pile. 13 cars in each pile. And I love labeling my answers because when you get in math, sometimes each number is representing something different, and it's nice to be very specific and know what those numbers are for. Okay, so now you can pause this video and complete this page. That means you have one more problem to do. And so if you struggle with the first one, hopefully you thinking or watching me think through how to solve a problem gave you a hint on how you could solve this next problem. So go ahead and work it out. Make sure you start with estimating. One of the big ideas for today is estimating. So we can look back at our first problem, and our estimate was more than 10, and look, we were really close. It is more than 10. And if for some reason we started working it out and we got a number less than 10, then we would know that, whoa, something's not right. Let me go back and let me check my work. So we don't estimate just for fun, but our estimate is used to help us figure out if our answer is reasonable. But sometimes we use our estimate to help us solve the problem, like we did here. We started with our estimate of 6 times 10, and that really helped us figure out how to solve the problem. So go ahead and use that with number 2. Pause this video, and then we'll be back to talk about strategies. If you are able to do number 2 really quickly and you want a challenge, go ahead and try number 3, or maybe try writing your own division story problem. Good luck. Okay, so hopefully you paused your video and now you are back so that we can review the answer for number 2. So Katina, my mom's name is Katrina, had 108 strawberries to share with her 24 classmates. On the way to school, she dropped 12. If she shares the remaining with her classmates, how many strawberries will each student get? So our first step should always be to think about, what is the problem even saying? She had some strawberries, she dropped some, which is subtraction, and then she shared it, which is division. Division is, you can think about division as sharing. So let's estimate. She had about 110, she dropped 10, so she had about 100, and she's sharing with 24 classmates. Our answer should be around the number, maybe somewhere close to 4. Did you get that as for an estimate? 24 is really close to 25. And when I think about 25, think quarters. And there are 4 quarters in a dollar, which is 100 cents. And I know we've talked about that before with Number Corner. So she has about 100 strawberries, and she's sharing with 24 classmates. Then each student might get about 4. Maybe a little less. Maybe it'll be 3. Maybe it'll be 5. I'm not sure yet. We got to figure it out. So let's solve the problem. I'm not going to write down the estimate because hopefully you followed along with me, and just for the sake of time. So I'm going to just go ahead and show you a way that you could have solved the problem. So we have 108 minus 12. Let's figure it out. 108 minus 10 would be 98. Minus another 2 would be 96. So notice again, here I am using mental math strategies and not necessarily using the algorithm where I have to regroup and do all the things, okay? So I have 96 strawberries and I want to share them with 24 students. So 96 divided by 24, and we know our answer is going to be somewhere close to 4. That would be a good estimate. So let's work it out. This one is a challenge for sure. So if I were to make a sketch, I could think about 24 as maybe 20 and, whoopsie, I could think about 24 as 20 and 4. Okay, and we want to fill this area with 96. So let's do doubles. It's really easy to think doubles. So let's do 24 doubled. 24 plus 24 is 48. Did you guys start with doubles? Remember I came back and I had to show you that that's what I should have shown you the first time, but I didn't. Okay, so here's 2. And now I know I can go more, so let me go another 48. 48 plus 48 is 40 plus 40 is 80. 8 plus 8 is 16. 80 plus 16 is, oh my goodness. Look at that. What is our answer? Where is our answer? That gives us 96. Our answer is here. So each student gets 4 strawberries. And that's what we estimated. How cool is that? So our estimate actually helped us solve the problem because knowing that it was around 4, I didn't have to jump to think 5 up here or 10 or anything like that because that would be a silly thing to do. I could have even gone by ones if I wasn't sure and kept building up by adding 24 plus 24 plus 24, and we got our answer, which is 4 strawberries per student. And I'll circle my answer right here. All right, so if you just are feeling like you are really getting this and you're loving it, go ahead and try number 3. But just know the big ideas are estimating is very important because not only is it going to tell you if your answer is reasonable, but it also will help you when you're solving problems. We did a lot of division. Well, our equation involved division today, but we used a lot of multiplication to solve the problem, which is reminding you that multiplication and division are related. They are inverse. They have an inverse relationship. Okay. So we drew pictures, we estimated, we used multiplication to solve. Those are some of the things that our brains were thinking as we were trying to solve these problems. And we had 2-step word problems today. So good job. Go you. Go you. I'll see you back here tomorrow. You guys have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.